Eros and Psyche, Scene 6. Aphrodite lay on the ground, perusing the movement of individual stars on the constellation of her birth. They teased her, blowing clouds of confusion about her intellect one minute, and delivering blinding sparks of vision and insight the next. The sudden disintegration of her soul relationships with her mortal lovers had been reason to panic, but the stars assured her that a sabbatical was on the horizon through which her yearning for romantic love would finally be realized. There was also a significant celestial event about to transpire, like a sunflower coming into bloom, a total lunar eclipse. As she already knew, eclipses almost always signified a significant change of some sort. When Aphrodite concentrated on the impending image, the stars articulated that there would be an overhaul of the feminine in the anatomy of love. It was a statement that really confused her. She couldn't quite discern whether the stars were talking about changes on a cosmic level, or if they were alluding to the psyche of a human or some disembodied entity. Perhaps it was both. Before she could make any further queries, a loud crackling noise boomed from the constellation of Sagittarius. Aphrodite swiftly changed the trajectory of her concentration to the frequency of the commotion and calculated its overall distance using the electromagnetic sonar atop her head. The entity was extremely luminous, hurtling towards her at supersonic speeds like a burst of radiation from an exploding supernova. The twinkling light grew brighter and brighter, taking on multiple forms as it drew nearer and nearer. It started off as a jade-coloured serpent, before morphing into a scaly red gargoyle, a charred human with wings and canine teeth, and finally into a newborn pink-lipped male cherub. The latter fashioned an archery set from the cosmic ether, adopted an aggressive stance, and proceeded to draw back on his bow. Aphrodite screamed. "It's only me," Eros said, poking her shoulder. "You shit!" Aphrodite darted up from the velvet cushions she'd been lying on. "For a second I thought it was Artemis." "Why?" "I think she's still angry about Hippolytus," said Aphrodite, trying not to squint. "It's so bright in here. Can you roll the shutters down for me?" "Not that bright, Mum," Eros said. "That's what happens when you get addicted to astral travelling. You should see." "What in Zeus's name happened to your chest?" Aphrodite asked. "You've been burnt." Eros stuttered. "I was trying to steal one of those glowing plants from the Garden of the Hesperides and got burnt by Ladon on the way out." Aphrodite laughed. "You couldn't lie to me if your life depended on it." "Yeah, I could," Eros blushed. "Ladon's fiery breath wouldn't leave that kind of burn anyway," Aphrodite reasoned. "That burn was made with some kind of machine or mechanical device, maybe a blowtorch." "No," he persisted, "it wasn't." "It was," she said. "Who burnt you, Eros?" "I know when you're lying," she said. "Tell me the truth, or I'll tell Zeus who was behind the less than noble love affairs with despicable women." "Fine," he said. "It was an accident." "With a blowtorch." "Yeah." "I was right," Aphrodite said. "Who did it?" "A lover. A woman, no doubt," Aphrodite said. "So now your love life has become a secret too, has it, Eros?" "No, We made a pact to never keep secrets from one another," Aphrodite exclaimed, "especially when it comes to our love lives. Have you forgotten that?" "No, I just didn't think that Mother Dearest should know lest she put in her 2 cents worth," said Aphrodite in an ironic tone. "What's the girl's name?" "Why do you want to know?" Eros asked. "I want to know who my son is bedding or wedding," said Aphrodite. "According to the decree of Olympian Zeus, it's my divine right to know." "Fine. You can't consummate the marriage without my consent either." "Where does it say that?" Eros asked, gulping. "I've never heard that one before." "On the tablet of divine laws in the innermost sanctuary of the great temple," said Aphrodite. "You obviously haven't read them." "I didn't even know that such a thing existed." "Because you're too busy taking divine law into your own hands half the time," Aphrodite said. "Such impudence." "You're one to talk," said Eros. "Since when did you ever play by the rules, Mother?" "Don't attempt to change the subject," said Aphrodite. "Who is your chosen one, Eros?" "She's a stunner." "Who is it?" Aphrodite insisted. "She's the most gorgeous thing in the cosmos." Aphrodite's eyes narrowed. "It better not be who I think it is." "What do you mean?" I mean that girl that you were supposed to put into place some time ago, said Aphrodite. That girl who everyone thought was the best thing since mint-flavoured nectar and mousse ambrosia? I can't quite remember her name. Psyche. Yeah, that's it. How in heaven do you... Aphrodite's face turned a pasty white. What? It's her, isn't it? Aphrodite asked. Yeah, it is. You little shit, Aphrodite exclaimed. Not only did you not do what I asked of you, you went behind your own mother's back to fandango with this mortal whore who has used sorcery to bewitch every single male being in heaven and on earth. That's not true, Eros snapped at her. You know it's not. Don't you dare raise your voice to me, young man, said Aphrodite. You haven't done so all your life. Now's not the time or place to start. Then don't mock the woman I love, he said. The woman you love? Aphrodite asked, feeling the fiery anger diffuse out from her temples. How can you love her? She's just a mortal for Zeus's sake. Really? Yeah, really. Well, now she'll have to deal with me, said Aphrodite, in person. I won't let you... Aphrodite scooped up a handful of skin-rejuvenating sleeping dust from her Urania makeup kit and threw it at Eros. The expression of angst on his face quickly transmutated into one of pure astonishment as its instantaneous effects took hold. Eros didn't have any time to react, let alone mutter another word of objection. A debilitating torpor took hold of his conscience and he dropped to the floor like a sack of potatoes. Sweet dreams, my boy, Aphrodite mocked, running her hands through his golden hair. By the time you awake, Mother Dearest will have disentangled the mess that you've made by sending that girl's Psyche to the dreaded depths of Tartarus from whence there is no return.